from Australia. I'm presenting natural gas well power network management using ETAP NetPM. Hi, I'm Raul Barrera, one of the engineers here at Voltex Power Engineers, company specialized on high voltage engineering. So the agenda for today is introduction, discussion about the problem, the solution given to the client, and the challenges we were faced with. The Western Downs region in the state of Queensland in Australia has vast reserve of natural gas. One field or extraction field alone has about 4,000 square kilometers, and as last year it contained over 600 wells in operation out of over 1,000 planned. Just to give a sense of the magnitude of these areas and the amount of coverage these systems need to achieve, Australia is about the size of continental US, and basically the whole of Europe can fit in it. Queensland is an eastern state facing the Pacific Ocean, and the region itself, the Western Downs region, is on the southeast of the state. So there in the little green area, you can see that's the actual region in the map. It's about 40,000 square kilometers, so about the size of Switzerland or the Netherlands in Europe. So you can see it's quite a large area that needs to be covered. And yes, there are kangaroos and koalas in the region, but we're not managing them using ETAP. So how does it look like? Well, this is an aerial view of one of those fields, or at least a section of it. And as you can see, it's a vast array of obviously access roads. And within those access roads, usually on the fringes, you will find that the pipelines also run to obviously bring the extracted gas. They will have power as well. So the way power works in these networks is you will have substations distributed, and our transmission line will arrive and will be dropped down to 11 kV into the substation. Then the substation, within the substation, you drop it out again to 415 volts, and this gets distributed to the separate wells. So as you can imagine, will be a lot of these substations distributed all over the place. So what is the problem, you may ask? Once it's designed, and everyone extracts gas and everyone is happy. Well, the issue is that these gas wells, they don't produce gas continuously. They have in average a lifespan of about 10-15 years, anyway, in this region. And new wells are brought into line. Now, over time, these wells need to be rested for them to recover, to accumulate gas, so gas can be extracted again. Also, water needs to be pumped out of those wells, because invariably there is groundwater and gas within the same area, so you need to extract the water and treat it, and the gas obviously is extracted and cleaned up and then pumped to the proper treatment plant. The thing is that all this is a continuously evolving, a continuous change, causing issues when you are actually trying to maintain data for those installations. And in our case, for example, even keeping a single line diagram within date and everyone organized is quite difficult. So what's the solution? Well, for us, it was obvious that ETAP NetPM was the answer. We need to keep in mind that these companies, gas companies that is, the business is extracting the gas, processing it, and selling it. They are not design houses. They usually send all the engineering needs out for tender, for example, to different design houses. The tender process obviously gives you an uncertainty on who's going to be the winner. So invariably you will have models and part of the work done by different people at different times. On top of that, people within these design houses change over time. So what you end up with is all these houses, all these companies sending information to the client in different formats, sometimes via email or synchronizing folder systems, or as basic as sending a USB memory stick with the information in it. And then you end up with a model, an ETAP model, for example, who has the same name, but it's different versions of it. So which one is which? And yes, you can go and try to do a project merge and to try to figure out who did what, but that gets complex and gets messy very quick. So using ETAP NetPM proved a very neat solution. So what were the challenges? Well, interestingly enough, the challenges were more human than technical. Technical wasn't such a big problem because you install a server or have a server, put NetPM on it, load your models, give people access, the proper permissions, and you're in business. If you're a ETAP user, it doesn't take much to learn to use ETAP NetPM. It's more to do with the process within the organization that takes a bit of time. But the two main challenges that we are facing even to this day is aversion to change and the very topical theme of cybersecurity, which is, I suppose, fair enough. Aversion to change. The systems people create, these spreadsheets, they've been created long time ago for fields that have been in operation for years. So this is not something new. Now, to add to the complexity of managing this information is these fields, these gas fields are so vast that are looked by several teams. It's not just one person or one team looking after them. And each team or each manager will be sending design changes to different design houses under tender conditions. So you can see the problem multiplies rapidly. And to make things even worse, within these teams, you find that people leave companies, new people come in, so then information gets lost during that process because some people may have had that Excel, for example, spreadsheet into their hard drive, into the computer gets disposed of, and away goes the spreadsheet with all that information. So it's not an easy answer from the point of view of trying to create your own system. So with the introduction of NetPM, you think, well, it's all solved because it does all this automatically. People can create changes or produce changes on a model, get synchronized to the master model. A manager then will be able to accept and reject and comment on those changes. But we need to keep in mind that for the people facing this new system, as straightforward as it is, because it's quite good, it's quite simple if you look at from the point of view of implementation, well, they still don't trust it because it's new. So while the new system is implemented and people learn to use it and get used to it, they will still be running the old system. So for a period of time, we'll be duplicating the amount of work the controllers or the data managers will do. So first of all, we need patience. You need to acknowledge the problem, identify the benefits, so you need to keep repeating what the benefits are, the long term, what the end game is, communicate and seek support. So from within the organization, otherwise it's just fail, or people will abandon the system or try to go back to what they're familiar with. Very important to provide that support during the implementation time, training and continuous follow-up, and then it just starts rolling automatically, but it takes time to get to that point. The other concern was, well, the very topical theme of cybersecurity. So my answer to that is, well, this is a database, so it's not different than protecting any other database. There is not something different or mysterious about NetPM is a database that runs on a server and an application that accesses it. So the same precautions, not having unnecessary ports open on your network, strict control access, so be careful who you allow into that particular system. You may decide to have a separate dedicated server for this application. So my advice is conduct a cybersecurity audit and act on it, and then implement NetPM. So apart from that, as I said before, it's no different than any other. So NetPM, in this case, together with the etapAPP, has been quite handy, because with the etapAPP, people can go to the field, update any changes, and that avoids data errors, human errors, because the consultants don't need to do any changes, because the changes already there, they're already synchronized in the master model, and when the consultant opens the model, gets synchronized, and they get the latest data or the latest changes, and they get notified of those changes within the software. So it works well. Anyway, so that was our little journey. It's still going, it's still ongoing, and hope to have more successful implementation of ETAP NetPM. And anyway, that's my lot for today. Thank you for listening, and look forward to your questions.